So, what's the best soap opera? I'm asking you guys because this is what I want to debate with all my YouTube viewers and fans. What do you think is the best soap opera? I'm asking because, believe it or not, I started following Days of Our Lives in February. I caught a glimpse of Nicole Walker helping Father Eric out in the church, and I thought, damn, she's pretty good looking. And then once I started watching it, I got hooked on it. Quite a bit has happened on Days of Our Lives. Sammy's trial is over with, because she was charged for murdering Joseph Bernardi, this cop, and Daniel found out that Parker is his legal son, and he broke up with Chloe, who is probably the most attractive one on that whole show. Chloe, she's a 9.5, if not a 10, with those nice long legs and the tight butt. Nicole is pretty good looking. Kristen isn't too bad, and neither is Marlena and Abigail and Sammy. They're not all too bad. I also like Hope, played by Kristen Alfonso. She was pretty hot back in on MacGyver in 2 episodes, because they had to kill her off on MacGyver. But anyway, Days of Our Lives is pretty interesting. If it wasn't for Stefano DiMera, that show wouldn't be Days of Our Lives in my view, because he's definitely keeps the show together. He's got to be on there. He's somewhat evil, and he's also a nice guy when he wants to be. He's a good character on that show, and I think the guy who plays Justin, Sammy's lawyer, Justin Kyriakis, he's a pretty good actor, the guy who plays him. When I first started watching Days of Our Lives, I caught bits and pieces of General Hospital, and I thought Lulu was pretty hot. And what really disgusts me was about, a month ago, they had to kill off the most attractive girl on that show, Connie. She had to get killed off by this drunk, AJ. Have you noticed these soap operas have names like AJ, JJ, EJ, and they have names like Brady and Eric, Where are the names like Bruce and Biff and Cubby and Muchacho and names like that? You got Dr. Daniel Jonas. I don't mind him until he's picking on JJ, like that episode where Parker is trying to get his plane off the dresser and he moves his chair and he almost fell and broke his neck, and Daniel picks up JJ up against the door. If you ever put my son in danger again, I will tear you apart. I was like, oh, Mr. Tough Guy. He's so tough, picking on this college kid, or this high school kid, JJ's got to be about 17, maybe close to 18 now on that show, but Daniel just picks him up, threatens him, like he's Mr. Tough Guy. When he's helping out Father Eric in, with his illness deal, where he got poisoned about, a month ago. And when he's, talking to Nicole and Brady and Chloe and Jennifer, then he's not so bad. I just don't like it when he's picking on JJ because he thinks he's so tough, picking on some, high school kid like he's the big bully, Back to General Hospital, yeah, they had to kill off Connie, and I think that was a shame. And then they have names on there like Sonny and Cruz and all of that stuff, and then they have all kinds of, weird stuff going on at General Hospital. I think that show is more graphic and more, more eerie than Days of Our Lives, but in my view, I think Days of Our Lives is better than General Hospital and Young and the Restless and All My Children. Those are like the old ones, and there's some new ones too, like One Tree Hill, Veronica Mars, Beverly Hills 90210 is back. That's how what's his name, Luke Perry and those guys became pretty popular because they were on that Beverly Hills 90210. Yeah, I was thinking about I could almost write my own soap opera. I'd call it Intelligent Stupidity. On that show, I would have to have a guy named Biff, and his head boss would be Mr. Muchacho, the mastermind of what's going on. And then I'd have a guy working for the Continental Enlargement newspaper. His name would be Cubby. And then I'd put some guy on the Park Avenue Development, just businesses. And Biff would obviously have to have a butler to drive him around, and take care of his house and stuff. That guy's name would have to be Jeeves. They don't have a Jeeves on Days of Our Lives. They have a Harold. Brady Black's butler in that Kiriakis mansion. His name's Harold. Maybe he works for the Damaris, but he might work for the Kiriakises too. But I don't really keep track of all that stuff. I'm still trying to figure out who's related to who, somehow. And I'm surprised they don't have a guy named Jeeves, or a Cubby, or a Biff, or a Bruce, or... The name Biff, I think that sounds kind of funny. I'm not talking about the guy from Back to the Future, but Biff, just the name Biff, kind of got a funny ring to it, don't it? That's all I have to say about soap operas. Let me tell you, the older you get, the more you appreciate things like music. My parents listened to the 60s and 70s. I can really appreciate that more now than I did, 20 years ago. Same way with soap operas. When I was staying home from school, whether I was sick or playing hooky from school, I'd try to watch like Days of Our Lives or All My Children or something, and I couldn't do it. It was boring. And now, the older I get, the more I can really relate to the characters, and that's kind of what makes soap operas interesting. And I think a soap opera anymore is better than the WWE. Their storylines are better, and I can just really relate to what's going on the soap opera, because it's like everyday life, the problems and challenges that people face in their everyday lives, and that's how you can relate to it, And like WWE, they already have their prima donna champions picked out, like John Cena and Daniel Bryan, and that's kind of why I don't watch it like I used to, because it got pretty well, how I should say, cleaned up their violence, and everything went downhill starting in 2006 after the whole big WWE bought WCW out, back then. And it started slowly falling off the face of the earth, and now it's way too, G now. Even back in the late 80s, early 90s with Hulk Hogan, The Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man, Earthquake, Dino Bravo. Those guys, Ted DiBiase, Jake the Snake Roberts, and the list goes on. Those guys were worth watching, and they were fun, and now it's like, boy, they've really gotten way too far out, way too far extreme, Well, I just wanted to debate here about the soap operas, because I see there's a new one now, too, called The Bold and the Beautiful on CBS, K-Mag. And I just like Days of Our Lives, because of EJ and all those guys, I'm surprised they don't have a BJ. Got me thinking, years ago, one of my dad poker's buddies said to this kid whose name was BJ, "BJ, isn't that short for blowjob?" Maybe that's why they don't have a BJ on the show, but they have an EJ, an AJ, a JJ. Maybe they could have like a CJ or an MJ or a TJ or PJ. There's all kinds of names like KJ and OJ. There's so many, weird things that you can name, like RJ, and if you wanted to, you could have like a ZJ or an XJ or a WJ, or an AJ. It just never ends. So, we'll be talking and more videos coming soon, so we'll see ya.